So my studio is filled with Fulton Sheen. It's filled with sculptures. It's filled with his voice. Oftentimes when I'm working on these sculptures, I'm actually listening to Fulton Sheen on some of the many different videos and audio that we have of his voice. It's amazing to be creating a sculpture of someone so spiritual that has been so embraced by the world. My absolute desire is to create these meaningful pieces that will perpetuate and, in a sense, crystallize that spirit. Working on Fulton Sheen is fascinating because he was so intense. And even his face, I have been looking at his face day in, day out, and man, what an expression he has. And so for me, it was taking that collage of different photographs, those videos, and actually trying to get that visual bite that represents the man the best. And so on these sculptures, you see that dignity, you see that courage, I feel, and that power. There's just some sense of power in the not only the face, but also the positioning of him. It's an amazing experience working so close to that face that was seen by so many people around the world. It's interesting because what face of Fulton Sheen should I go with? Was it the young one? Is it the elder Fulton Sheen? How do I choose? I chose to kind of do a combination of them all. It's almost like I took some ingredient from each different era and I pushed it into this portrait. You know, it's interesting with portraiture because in a sense you can go forever on it. And there's a time where you just have to stop, where you've hooked onto something, you've captured something, it's hard to describe, and you know you have the essence of that character. With portraiture, if you go too far on the detail, it can kind of strip the life out of the sculpture, out of the portrait. And in a sense, you have these death masks that have been created in previous centuries that for sure do not capture the spirit of the person. I remember when I created my Dante sculpture, I was really studying the mold or the cast of the death mask that was there. And in a sense, it's almost like the shell of the spirit. When it's too realistic, that's the fear. It becomes almost like a wax museum. So I'm walking this fine line of crazy expression, pouring emotion, but also getting a likeness. I wanted to keep these fresh. I wanted to keep it spontaneous, and I wanted to keep it as authentic as possible to the spirit of Fulton Sheen. It's awesome in my studio working on two portraits, one with a life-size and the other just a portrait bust of Fulton Sheen at the same time. In a sense, my studio was competing with itself. I do one thing on this figure and then I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to put that in the other one. And so my two sculptures of Fulton Sheen have daily been copying after one another. There's that power, there's that majesty that Fulton Sheen presented, not only in his words, but in his actual appearance. I think it's absolutely embedded within these sculptures. I think one of the most American Catholic scenes that has ever happened in St. Patrick's Cathedral, where Pope John Paul II embraced Archbishop Fulton Sheen. I felt that was an amazing moment in our Catholic history, and to finally actually create an art piece from that moment, I'm so happy about it. Like the arches within St. Patrick's Cathedral, I wanted to actually create those two figures, almost creating an arch within the arches. And so there you can see how the drapery has lended towards that design of the two figures coming together. It's a very simple but very pure representation of the love between Archbishop Fulton Sheen and Pope John Paul II.